Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afker, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of your divine uniqueness. Thank you for your presence and yeah, so for being here with us. So thank you, whether you are on the live call now or later on the replay. And also very happy that Kim Van de Sande is back on the show. She joined us, I think, 2 seasons ago, a year ago, and as we say, it's like the call with her was really profound and really we experience like a deeper experience or a deeper knowing of love and divine love and how we can embody that and also create our human experience from that state of being of from that frequency because how to say many times we can get confused with our own issues, traumas, fears, or maybe relationships, or also with the collective because we are constantly because collectively we are awakening and moving forward and healing, and we are picking as empath, we are picking from the collective also the traumas and fears, and it can create some confusion, and we need to come back to our center, to our heart, and embody true love, the energy of love, so we can really discern like what is serving us and what is not, and also how we can relate to the world and how we can bring more light, guide others if we feel called to, and also just be who we are and share our gifts. So yeah, I really love her message and how she can guide us into that's true essence within. And for those of you who are new to her, she is a sacred architect, cosmic channel, Akashic Records master, high priestess, best-selling author, and transformational teacher. And sorry, and today's call is about breaking free from limitations and planting seeds of love. So she will be discussing that, and also we will have a Q&A afterwards. So as always, if you want to ask your question, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand on Zoom. And if you are on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. And also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so with that, Kim, welcome back to the show. Happy to have you with us today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here again, and I'm excited to share yet another sacred conversation. And I think you already did a beautiful intro, and it's such an important message in this time and space. And the embodiment of love, it is ever expanding, and we're constantly learning new things and discovering new things about ourselves and the collective and what we're all here, yeah, to collectively bring and inspire. So I thank you for this beautiful introduction and this beautiful call, and everyone tuning in. Yeah, excited to share this time together. So
wonderful. Yeah, so in the beginning, maybe if you'd like to share maybe a little bit about your work, so those who are new to you can learn more about that.
Yes, I am just passionate about love. It's like in my own journey, there have been many pivotal moments where, in a way, I call it my soul awakened me to a deeper purpose. So it was through the challenges I experienced that I got called to go deeper within myself and to discover deepening layers that I pushed away or that I shamed or that I blamed or that I neglected. And in through these challenging moments, I was invited to reconnect with myself. And we can do that with force, or we can do that with our mind, or we can do that by doing all these techniques. But what I discovered is that the most profound was for me and with others that I guide is through the embrace of love. Because when we're truly willing to let love guide us, and when we're truly willing to sit with ourselves in the stillness of our being and listen to these wounded parts, listen to these parts that for my life then that I judged, that I pushed away, that I neglected, then suddenly you see there's a whole different dynamic opening up. And suddenly I discovered wisdom codes within myself. Like I discovered ways in which I could heal parts of myself, but it was by me willing to go within. So in my own journey, I discovered the profoundness of love. I healed my chronic illness. And in that, it was this this accelerated awakening journey. And in that, I got inspired to now inspire others to do the same. And it's like, in a nutshell, I think in the last conversation, we talked a lot about that. But for me, it was the Flower of Love Council that stepped forward. And it is a council of divine love frequencies that are supporting this revolutionary journey in this time and space, because we're all being invited to step into our next level. We're all being invited in our own unique way to come back to the purest form of ourselves, our purest selves, underneath all these layers of illusion, underneath all these layers of blame, shame, judgment, and to discover, like, who am I in my essence? And it is truly through the space of love that we can discover that again. Because when a wounded part steps forward and I start judging it, or I start blaming it, or I find it very inconvenient because I'm doing something else and I don't have time to feel that, or I don't have time to witness that part, but in that I push it away and it keeps building momentum. And I discovered that through the profoundness of love, I can suddenly see that part of myself again, witness it, and then you suddenly discover that as it opens, there's a lot of wisdom, there's a lot of insight, there is growth, there is an opportunity to step into our next level. And that's a beautiful journey that unfolded. And in that, when we're willing to step into that vulnerable space, beautiful things open up. So for me, it led to channeling my book and the Flower of Love lineage that stepped forward, and the card deck, and all these beautiful souls I get to meet in beautiful places. But it's just an invitation to embrace who we are in our purest form, and to witness ourselves, and to see that when we're truly willing to step into that space of vulnerability and openness, things magically start to shift. And then you suddenly have beautiful opportunities on your path that you couldn't even imagine with your mind. And it's just embracing this ride, but also embracing the discomfort, because it doesn't always mean that it's only this uplifting energy and it's always bliss and joy. No, sometimes we also need to be with these parts of us that long our love and our acknowledgement and our deepest truths, reconnecting to that part. So it's like it's a huge acceleration journey. And in my space, sometimes it's difficult to explain it with words, because I'm all about the energy and I'm all about the experience, and every journey is unique. So what I do and what I'm being guided to do, and what the Flower of Love Council is supporting as well, is like, we'll hold space with love. And from this field of love, it will unfold in the most beautiful ways what's necessary in that now moment. But for each and every one, that is different, and for each and every moment, that is different. But it's so profound when we're willing to be in that openness, and when we're willing to receive love, when we're finding ourselves worthy enough, because that's an important key in this whole journey. Like, do you find yourself worthy enough to be happy? Truly happy? Do you find yourself worthy enough to manifest the life of your dreams, to be in this joyful state, to be healthy, to be happy? And that is breaking free from all these illusions we have kept ourselves in, or even that we received from the collective, or from our parents, from family lineages. It's understanding that how sometimes we are so like held back by all these limitations that are not our essential self. And then we can feel like, okay, I'm doing my best and I'm setting my intentions and I'm holding my affirmations. But if there's a deep root of self-neglect or judgment that is constantly sending out a vibration, you can do the best you want, but there is a part of you that is holding you back. And that is through the power of love. We don't fight, we just witness with love. And in that fighting part can show itself again. And that's when we're truly able to rise. That's when we're truly able to step into our next level, instead of like you always had the saying, like, I take one step forward and then 3 steps back. No, that's the old way of doing. But when you're doing it with love, you're taking 3 steps forward, and that's your 3 steps. There's no step back. No, you're just rising into your next level, because you're elevating all of you. And I think this time and space is inviting all of us to do that. And also, as the earth is ascending, it will activate these deeper layers within ourselves. So it will activate our shadows, our wounds, but not to bring us down. It's an invitation for growth, an invitation for expansion, an invitation for the amazingness, and rediscovering that through love and through compassion and through self-care and all of those beautiful things. So I can share a lot about that, but yes.
And I love what you mentioned now, and also you talked about embracing also the shadow and the aspects of us that we kept hiding or feeling ashamed of. But also, how do we approach that? Because many times when these experiences come up, we try to be with that feeling, with those maybe emotions, and we try to process them. But at some point, it can be maybe difficult. And if we maybe run away or don't continue the process, we start judging ourselves that we didn't do the right thing. Or so, how do you approach those kind of situations?
Yeah, that's a good question. And there will be energies that we find so painful that sometimes we have the coping mechanism that will walk away, or that we're searching for something like, okay, there's something more important to do, or we start searching on social media or whatever. We feel that we're drifting away. And it's also being compassionate with ourselves in those moments, because sometimes like we're not yet ready. We know there is this cycle we're ready to break. We know there is this wounded part that is ready to come into harmony and come into love, but we keep fighting it, or a part of us keeps resisting it. And it's also being compassionate with that part. So what I do because it's always interesting that the moment I start to witness that there is something, like, for me, it's always a journey of growth. So each time I set a new intention, or I'm being invited to step into my next level, suddenly some shadows pop up because they are invited to be harmonized before I can step into my next level. And what then happens is sometimes there is this moment of resistance, and it's understanding that we have a conscious choice. So we can sit with ourselves. What I do is I ask the field of love to be with me. I am taking this time to be in the stillness of my being, and then I witness what is happening. But sometimes we also go into the pattern, okay, this is too painful, or this is too difficult, or I notice that I am taking another, or like I'm distracting myself to not go there. And then it's beautiful, like also for me, we sometimes have, or we need someone to hold space for us, who will say, okay, I see you want to move away, but now it's time to break free from that. So also for me, I sometimes have a beautiful soul guiding me in this deeper exploration, because sometimes, especially the most profound wounds, they are sometimes too painful. And if they were easy to harmonize, we would already have done that. So there are two important keys for me. One is like, it's understanding like how deep a certain root is, or how deep a certain wound is, or a painful energy. And is it our energy that wants to push it away, so that we need guidance and someone else holding space? Or is it not yet time? Because sometimes there's also, our mind thinks, okay, I need to fix this right now and I need to sit with this. But maybe there's a missing key that is not yet in our awareness, or not yet in our lives. And it's understanding, by sometimes contemplating a little bit more on that energy, suddenly it clicks into place. Because we can, again, from the mind think, no, I need to fix this now, and I need to sit with it, and I need to, but sometimes it's also not yet time, and it's again being compassionate. So I always advise beautiful souls to feel and to sense, like, which part of you is giving the order, or which part of you wants this to be fixed. Because does it really need to be fixed, or is it just seeing it, and also acknowledging our own movement and our own way of dealing with what is being wanted to be felt? Or like the wounded part, how does it want to be acknowledged? How does it want to be experienced? And it can be in many ways. So sometimes it's also us judging, like, okay, I see myself distracting myself again. And that again is an old pattern, because then we stay in the loop of judgment of that we're walking away. But sometimes it's also just being compassionate. And when it's done, when it's time, you will feel it. And that's like, also for me, there have been certain patterns in my life that I kept repeating, even though I knew they weren't healthy. But at one point in our lives, we'll feel, now it's enough. Now I've learned the lesson, or now I've felt enough, or now for me, like, it's really there. And then you also notice that it goes very quickly, where otherwise there is a lot of resistance, or there's a lot of hard work. But this time and space is also inviting us to do it with more ease and grace and co-creation with our higher selves and with the field of love, so that it just can happen in a more smooth way. Or yeah, so I think it's asking for guidance and support in beautiful ways. Guidance and support from our team, from Mother Earth, from the field of love, but also from guidance of beautiful souls around us that can support us and hold space. So there are many dimensions in that, but there's power. And I think this time and space, it's important to understand, don't be afraid of your wounds, don't be afraid of of your shadows, because there's power and they are a part of you. So by you neglecting them, or by you pushing them away or not acknowledging them, you're not acknowledging a part of yourself. And we can only rise in this new earth way. We can only rise into our next level when we're truly willing to acknowledge all that we are. And that is without judgment, that is without labeling something as good or wrong, because that is our mind. Our soul loves every part of us. Our soul is here for the experiences. Our soul loves the growth, loves, even if we fall, even if we stumble, even if we do something that our mind doesn't like, we're still learning through it. We're still growing. We're still being willing to stretch outside of a comfort zone. And that brings wisdom, that brings understanding, that brings a deeper truth of who we are. And it's coming back to this deeper essential remembering, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was really, really inspiring. So it's more about, instead of trying to focus only on one side, it's more about flowing through the duality of being human. And
Yes.
instead of judging both sides, one is good, one is bad, it's more about just having the experience and maybe playing the game of being
Yes.
here
Yeah.
in physical world. So yeah, and also you
Because
mentioned, yep, go ahead.
Because even healing can happen with compassion. I think in the old way it was, okay, now I'm ready and now I'm going to do this and I'm going to sit with it, but that's still the force. So also healing, also growth, it can happen with compassion and love and with deeper understanding. And I think that's already a huge shift. And then there's no force, there's no control, there's no contraction, and we can just be in the openness. And in that already so much shifts, instead of, again, otherwise it's again something we need to do. And there's already so much we need to do in this world. So if healing is also a task on our list, it will never happen, because then it's a thing of the mind that says, okay, checkpoints, but that's not how it works. It happens in its divine time and divine rhythm. So yeah, I think that's an important key.
And also you mentioned another thing that I feel is very important, is that at some point, as we try to feel those emotions or transmute the energy, at some point we feel that it's enough and we need to move on, because also there is part of us that is maybe perfectionist, try to in everything, and it's, if something starts changing, then it starts looking for something else to heal. And I think this is also part of running away from ourselves and just sharing our lights. We feel like we don't have enough confidence to trust who we are, and that we deserve to be seen and heard.
Yes. Yeah, that's an important one. And I think it's, for me, it's living in the now moment. Like we can so be focused on healing one area, or we can so be focused on, but it's being present in the now. And then we can feel, then we can experience, but it doesn't mean we're clinging on to, this is my goal, because even healing can become a goal and you're so focused on, it needs to look this way or it needs to feel this way, instead of really being present in the now moment. And in the present now moment, everything is beautiful. And when it's time to heal, it will come on your path. When it's time to feel a certain emotion, you will experience it. But it's through the openness, it's through the willingness to just say yes to life and the experiences, and then trusting in this deeper knowing that the universe is guiding you every step of the way. And then it's not the control or the old way of, and then we can step into the space of trust. And it's also understanding that's a deepening spiral. So it's not per se, again, healing. Okay, I've checked this off my box. Now I'm ready and now I can go into this next one. No, also for me, I'm constantly going through certain things in a deepening spiral. But with that, there is a deepening understanding coming, a deepening power, a deepening confidence in my being. And it's just this beautiful journey of saying yes. And I think that's the most important thing, because also the last couple of weeks and months, like also Mother Earth, she's rising her vibration so quickly. But that is also shaking our fundamental energies in our bodies, in our field. That is activating all these different parts within us. And it's only inviting us to just be present, to not hold on. So if we feel something, most of us have been lured from when we grow up, we contract and we judge the energy, but by that we block it. And in that we take it with us days, weeks, months, sometimes even years, so that it can build momentum, creating illnesses and all of that. And I know I've done it too. But this time and space is inviting us to feel it, So maybe there's an emotion rising, just let it come through you. Cry for a moment, yell for a moment, write for a moment, dance for a moment. And then you'll notice that the energy starts to shift quickly, and beautiful things unfold from that. But it's really this invitation of being in the openness and being in the, and the more you do that, the more confidence it will give you in your abilities, because that's also an important for this next step. Like, you have all the tools, the gifts, the talents within you to navigate this journey, but it's letting go of the ideas of the mind and coming back into love and into your heart. And the more you do that, the more of your confidence awakens, the more of your inner truth, of your inner guidance. And that's what we're all needing. The coming back to us pure self is also coming back to the navigation that is within us, because there's so much information around. Even like in all these conversations, you will find beautiful keys, but it's finding with you what resonates. So maybe this part resonates for you and maybe another part doesn't. And it's also being okay with that. And it's understanding that we take each of us, our soul knows what is our truth. So it takes little nuggets or little keys out of different things, and it's coming again back to this fluidity, that's okay. There's no one size fits all. And as we step into this new earth way of being, it also invites us to really be open, because we're truly pioneering, and our mind can't even grasp what this pioneering means, because it hasn't been created on earth before. What we're doing, how our bodies are transitioning, how we are healing, not even wounds of our past, but also past lifetimes, lineages. Like, we now being on earth, we're healing lineages of energies, and it's understanding that it's such a profoundness that it's really with compassion. I think that's an important key in this time and space. Like, sometimes we can feel like I'm doing my best and still there are a lot of these things happening, but it's understanding that with just this generation and future generations to come, we're healing all these traumas of many, many, many lifetimes, and we're taking it all into compassion and into love. And it's understanding that it's such a profound journey, and it's not even on the word. So I hope everyone can feel the energy, because there's so much energy already coming through beyond these words and beyond this. Yeah. And it's with compassion that we can just be present and witness, and not identify ourselves with it. I think that's an important one, because sometimes we can identify ourselves with the pain, or we can identify ourselves with the old pattern that is coming up, but it's not your truth. Yes, maybe you can feel the energy. Yes, maybe you are being invited to heal the energy, also for the collective. When you're sensitive, I am sensitive. And then sometimes I have this amazing day, and then suddenly the energy shifts and I think, what is happening? But then I suddenly see that there is a collective, that something happened in the world, and there is this collective heaviness that is coming into the collective field, and we feel that. But it doesn't mean we need to identify ourselves with it, but we are being invited to just let the energy move through us. And as we let the energy move through us, we heal it within ourselves, but by that also by the collective. But it's really in the fluidity, in the openness in the now moment, allowing it to flow and to be expressed, to be felt, to be experienced. Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful way to describe it. So
Yeah, indeed, it's very, very beautiful. And so also, like, talking about compassion and embodying love, and how do we experience that in relationships, with others, in all different kind of relationships, and maybe more precisely, how to know the time where to feel more compassion with someone and be there for them, and the time to set boundaries, because many times we can feel confused about that.
yes, that's an important one. Yes. And I would say it's just like within the airplane. It's first making sure that you're taken care of. And it doesn't mean you're selfish, or it doesn't mean you're not compassionate or to others, but it starts with first feeling this love within yourself. So it already, if you would start your day with a beautiful meditation, even if it's like 1 minute, choosing to connect with the frequencies of love, even if you would say, I embody love, but it means like you're tapping into this higher source of yourself, of love, of the infinite potential, and you're taking that into your system. And when you do that, it also means that as you go through your day, you're connecting with people from a whole different dimension than you're rushing into your day. And then you already have a natural boundary, because what happens when you're choosing love and when you're choosing to center yourself, you will already immediately feel when a request is coming your way or when a certain person is coming your way, how this interaction will play out. You will immediately feel like, okay, when can I be compassionate towards the other? Or when can I be in this space of, okay, this is not okay for me? And it's such a subtle difference, because for me as well, what I like, life is constantly mirroring us things. So if someone is saying something to you that is making you feel sad, it means there's something within your field that you're being invited to harmonize. So it doesn't mean then going towards the other and saying this is not like, so it's finding the balance between, okay, what is indeed the boundary? Where do I need to say, okay, this is not good for my energy? And where can I be compassionate towards the other? And for me, it starts with taking responsibility for what we feel. So what do you feel within yourself? When someone is saying something to you, how does that feel? And it doesn't mean you need to respond towards the other. You can just be in that energy for yourself. And then the moment you've processed that or come into an alignment with it, and it can be in a split second, to then respond from that, because then you have a totally different reaction. And even if someone goes and says something that is not really nice, you can still choose to just stay in this centered space for yourself and not respond. Because the moment you go and respond from a wounded part, you get this dynamic that only expands this wounded energy, and that's not good for you, but also not for the other. But it doesn't mean you can't say, okay, I need time. I need time to just contemplate this for a moment for myself, or I feel I'm getting emotional. Can you give me a little bit space to see what is happening? Or and that's again, for me, I think vulnerability is power. The moment we get confronted with something, that you can just share, like, okay, I feel I'm getting emotional, or I feel I'm getting triggered, or I feel, and in that you're already setting a boundary, because you're ready, but you're also setting power, and you're also giving the other the awareness that something is happening with you. And in that, both of you get a healing journey, both of you get the opportunity to clear the energy. So it starts with being willing to be vulnerable. It starts with starting your day in this alignment with love, because then you're already feeling more empowered to say those things. Because if you're starting your day rushed in everything that is happening, then it's like you're already in this sometimes depleted space. And then it's really understanding that when your energy is centered, it just naturally happens. And when your energy is open and you're just fluid, like, then it's much more difficult to set this boundary, or yeah. But it's starting with yourself and with love again, and really honoring that. But I think we're also, as a collective, going to a new dynamic in relationships, where before it was really, okay, I need to be strong and I need to be, there was this whole template of how things needed to be, and now we're coming back to the space, okay, but I can just be vulnerable. I can just share from my heart. And by that, I set my boundary. By that, I give the other person a chance to reflect. And in that, we get a whole new dynamic. But that's, again, being brave and pioneering this new way of communicating, this new way of interacting with others. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that when you mentioned that it will happen naturally. It's not something that we need to prepare for or force.
No.
And also when you mentioned that, I thought about, because many times, because that happens, it depends on our state of being. And if we are not in our center or not embodying love, and we try, as we say, to maybe to just allow things to happen, and we feel like they will not affect us, but afterward we feel hurt.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that on our own, we don't try to connect to our hearts, to embody love. And then we try to maybe embody something that's frequency that we don't have with others. And it just causes more hurt and more pain,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, and it's also as we raise our vibration, as we're stepping into this new earth, we're all one, we're all connected. So when we're willing to step into this vulnerable space, we allow the whole field to come into harmony instead of because the moment we feel like, okay, I'm setting my boundary, it also creates like a defense energy instead of understanding. And I know sometimes from our human perspective, it really doesn't feel that way. And where we're challenged and when our wounds are being activated, it really feels painful. And we're really in this deep emotion. But it's understanding in the end that we're all connected, we're all one. So the person that is standing in front of you is also a divine part of you. And why not be compassionate? Because it's also a reflection of a part of yourself. So when you can be compassionate toward the others, and it doesn't mean you have to say yes to everything. It doesn't mean you have to always be nice, because that's, I think, a disbelief that needs to come out of the system. You saying, okay, I feel this and I need time for myself, that is setting your boundary, but it doesn't mean you need to fight back. It doesn't mean you need to put up a wall. It just means you being honest about, okay, I notice something is happening with me. Can you give me space? Or I need to process it. But that's from a whole different dynamic. And then we can heal the whole collective instead of creating walls, instead of creating more separation, instead of, yeah. It's even when, and that's for me as well sometimes a big practice, but it's even when we're saying, no, everything is going good. Well, inside, everything is not going good. But in that, we don't get a chance to shift the energy. In that, we're putting up walls instead of showing our vulnerability. And I notice as well, for me, the more I step into this embodiment of love, the more truthful I become, but also the more I'm stepping into this space of sharing my vulnerability. Because when I share my vulnerability, someone else can learn from it. Someone else can truly heal from it. And I become a mirror. So they mirror me, but I also mirror them. But I want to be the mirror of compassion and love and healing. But that also means I need to embody that, because by that I can be the example. So I think it's really understanding the profound role we can have in the collective dynamic, in the interaction with others, in birthing this new earth together. And yeah, the power again within ourselves. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's like vulnerability, like finding our true power in when being vulnerable. It's really something I've been contemplating a lot, like in relationship with other people and myself. And how to say it, it's really how to maybe true freedom can really be experienced there when we are okay being vulnerable and without trying to protect ourselves and creating walls. But yeah, also I understand that it's a process. The more we try to embody love, the more
Yes.
we accept ourselves as we are, the more this can be more easier for us.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's really coming back to this vision of oneness, how we're all connected. And as I'm supporting you and compassionately you're supporting me, and in that we elevate each other, and that's for everything. It's understanding this dynamic.
Yeah.
And we as an individual choose our position within that, in that bigger dynamic, but let's choose love, let's choose compassion, and that goes with trials and errors, and that's also okay. But you will know, like, even like you can see people around you and you think, oh, they have it all fixed and they have it all beautifully. And when you don't have a vulnerable or an open conversation with them, that will be your vision, because they will talk from that and you will talk from that. And then that's the dynamic that will keep on playing. But if I notice for myself, like as I embody more love, sometimes I also get more challenged, because my higher self, my field is showing, okay, you're finally ready to witness with love these deeper wounds that I've sometimes didn't want to see for many lifetimes. But as I start to share that with others, suddenly other people also open up and say, okay, I've also experienced that. And then we can be in this compassionate dynamic instead of me thinking, oh, no, they have it all figured out. And what am I doing wrong? We all have these dynamics. No, we're all growing and we can learn from each other. And it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. No, you're coming back to your purest self, and it also means feeling, but it's also your most powerful space. But the like coming into this power means you're like it's this deeper understanding that it's not per se you falling off your pedestal. No, the pedestal is not there. You're standing in this light, in this truth of who you are. And in that you can be anything. And it doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks. And I think that's a dynamic shift, that you loving you understanding, or being compassionate with all of you, means you're in this space of resilience, means you're in this space of just being with, again, in the present moment. Because if we hang on to how things need to look like, we can't be present, and we can't allow the universe and our lives to surprise us in beautiful ways, because we're still fixed on it needs to look like this. So it's coming back to letting the energy move. But that also means, like, it's really this understanding that, okay, we want this blissful life, or we want this vision, but in this vision, it's a total package of embracing all that we are. It's not only embracing our light. No, we also need to embrace our shadows to come there. So it's not per se, as you're growing, no, I only want to pick the cherries out of it, and the rest I don't want to. No, that's again separation. So it's embracing all that you are, and within yourself, but also within others. And yeah, there's so much dynamic shifts that happen then.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. And yeah, everyone, also, if you have questions, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand on Zoom app, or you can type your question on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so in the meantime, as I'm to receive questions, I would love if you can tell us about the series you are offering to us. It's let's see, Seeds of Love, the Empowerment Series. And I invite everyone to visit the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Kim, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Kim, KIM. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and on the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And yeah, Kim, I would love if you can tell us about this series. It will start on March 25th, right?
Yes, I'm really excited for this. And what I note, I have done something similar in the past. So we have a week of activations, of coming together in this space, in this frequency of love, that starts indeed on 25th of March with a beautiful opening activation. But what we're going to do is we're diving into the roots of certain energies. So I always love to explain, you have your inner garden. And within your inner garden, you have seeds that are empowering you, seeds that lift you up, seeds that are in alignment with your truth and your purpose. But you also have weeds. And these weeds can stem from past lifetimes, from wounded parts, from as an inner child, or from family lineage and all of that. And it's unraveling all the energies that are preventing you from stepping into your next level. Because a lot of us, like especially in this time, a lot of these weeds are being activated, and we can think, what is happening and how can I shift this? And we try to understand with our minds. And what this series is going to help you with is diving into your inner garden and allowing the field of love to show you these weeds. And then through the light language and the cosmic love codes and the sacred geometry, they support you to harmonize them, to take them out with the root, and then planting seeds of love. And it's really through the planting seeds of love that allows you to really step into your light and your truth. But it's on key areas of your life. So we're going into your relationship with yourself and with others. We're going into the root energies of why sometimes abundance gets stuck. And abundance is in many ways. So it can be in wealth, but it's also in love, receiving compassion around you. We're diving into the relationship with your body, with your health. And so there are 5 key areas that we will go through that week. And it's almost like, okay, so you have your space, your inner garden, and it's just a week of deep gardening and really rearranging your inner garden to being in alignment with truth. Because we're going in this hemisphere, we're going into the springtime and the summertime. So it's really taking out the weeds that are no longer supporting you. And it's really creating this new foundational place from which you can step and grow forward, and coming into harmony with these wounded parts. So it's really a week of rapid growth. But what I notice when you do that a week long intensive, it creates this super shift instead of just having 1 month in between, or it's like this quick space for your field, like this upgrade that is really being invited in this time. And I love the vision of the inner garden, and the flower of love council always beautifully guides it. But it's understanding that sometimes, also for me, when many years back I had a burnout, I did all these things in my life to shift, and I started changing my diet, and I did some energy work and family work and all of that. But at one point, I felt good again, and all the old patterns came back because I didn't take out the roots of the energies that were preventing me from stepping into my next level. So there were certain energies in my field that were creating this burnout, and I just took them out. If you would see the garden, I was just took them out on the level that our eyes can see, but I wasn't ready to go into the weeds or in the roots of these weeds. And that's what this empowerment series does. It helps you to take it out in the root, because sometimes for many of us, we have done so much. We have done the energy work, we have done healing, we have done therapy, we have done all these different modalities, but sometimes it's in many subconscious layers that these roots are taking place. Sometimes it's even in the multidimensional layers of our being, and then we can try to unravel it with our mind, and we can think, why isn't something happening? Why isn't change happening? And that's really what I love about the empowerment series. It really helps you to, on many multidimensional levels, heal and harmonize these parts, and then bring in the energy of love and empowerment, bring in these seeds that are helping you to step into your next level in all these different areas of your life. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm really, it's the first time I'm holding this series, and it came in as a beautiful download. So I'm very, for me, it's also, I'm present, and in that I also receive the blessing of these codes. So I'm excited for, it's almost in 2 weeks. So I'm excited for this week, and I invite everyone, if you feel a resonance in your body, in your heart, in your field, to just join and experience it yourself. Because it's one thing to understand with your mind, but this time and space is inviting you to feel with your body what your next level is asking you, to feel with your senses, your gut feeling that is saying, okay, I notice, I'm interested, but I don't know why. But that's the exploration we're all being invited into. That's the coming out of your comfort zone, like not per se knowing with the mind why, but just feeling in every part of you, like, okay, this is what I'm feeling guided to do, or whether it's this or something else. But that's my invitation for everyone. Listen with your body, listen with your gut feeling, because it has so much to share. Your cells, your emotions, your subtle being, that's your truth, that is your guidance. And the more you listen to that, the more it opens up. But it's by taking this first step and then discovering it more and more. So, and that's, I think, as well, for the Seeds of Love Empowerment series, it really helps you to come back to this inner knowing. As you take away these layers that are not you, as you're coming back to the essential part of you, you will also notice that your intuition becomes stronger, your clarity, you will feel more confident, you will hold your boundaries more stronger, and you can re-listen to these activations time and time again. So if you want to start your day with love, you can use these keys and then see how your life changes. Truly, I notice, like for myself, the days I consciously set my intention, even if it's just for 1 minute, my whole day looks different than when I'm a young mom, when I rush into the day and everything needs to happen. There's a fundamental shift, but it's a choice within ourselves. So choose love, choose you, choose to step into this next greater version of you that is calling you. And that's why I think as well, if you're guided to watching this series, there's something for you to discover, something for you to explore. And yeah, so I would invite you to just join if you feel it.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Kim.
Yes.
Yeah, very grateful to you for sharing your support with our audience, holding that space, really loving space, and also bringing those activations and codes that can really help us to truly, like we mentioned earlier, embody love,
Yes.
and this will be reflected afterward in the way we create life, the way we relate to others, and the way we relate to ourselves first. And yeah, I really love that it's experiential. And also I have a question, like after the live the live sessions, like once the week ends, um can they you like listen again or watch again
Yes.
those and have maybe more deeper experience?
Yes, yes, and that's the beautiful thing, especially with light language and with cosmic love codes. So we have this week, we have an opening ceremony on the 25th, and we have the closing ceremony on the 30th. And each day you get an activation that has a certain theme. So whether it's relationships or wealth or your body, but I invite you to tune into them again, because each time they have a deepening spiral, each time in co-creation with your highest self and team of light, they support you to harmonize the deeper layers. So even when you're in a year from now and you suddenly experience like, okay, I have some relationship dynamics that are not supporting me anymore. Listen to it, because it will help you. Your highest self will get out of these multidimensional codes what you need to take out the weeds that are ready in that now moment. Because it's also understanding that some weeds are ready to come out right now, and others, they need a little bit more time, or there is again a lesson that first needs to be learned, or there's an experience that first needs to take place before we are finally ready to take that weed out. So yes, this series is there for you to interact with as a tool, as a toolkit. You can use it whenever you feel guided, and each time it has a deepening experience. Each time you will take more weeds out of your inner garden. But it's also for us. We grow and we expand and we get new experiences. And in these new experiences, it can suddenly activate a wounded part, a part that we never thought was within our field or within our subconsciousness. And then we have these beautiful tools that can support us to go into this layer. Because when we experience a wounded part, it's never only alone in this reality or dimension. It's also understanding, and I know it's hard for the mind to understand, but it has many multidimensional layers that sometimes goes into cosmic energies, or that goes into past lifetimes, and it's understanding that it's also this multidimensional healing that really brings the change, instead of only, okay, I had this experience while growing up and I'm trying to heal this experience. No, but this experience most of the time relates to many different dimensions. And it's understanding that we are multidimensional beings. We are so much more than this physical lifetime and this physical body. And it's coming into harmony with all these dimensions, and really surrendering to the field of love to support us in the most beautiful ways. Because when we're only trying to fix it where the problem is created, or only trying to fix it in this 3D reality, it doesn't, most of the time, it doesn't shift. So it really helps you in many ways. So I saw a
Yeah.
beautiful question come in.
Yeah. And just one more question about
Yes.
the program, and then we take Linda's question. Is if someone can join the live sessions, and maybe they have different plans or something, so can they maybe listen to the
Yes.
recording at their own place afterwards?
Yes, there
Okay.
will be a recording of the opening and the closing ceremony. I only record the transmission part. So I never
Yes,
record the pre and after
of course.
conversation, because I want to have the sacredness of the space and where everyone can just share from their openness of their heart. So, but
Yeah.
yes, the activations will be recorded, and there's just a beautiful portal page where you can find everything and
Yeah.
where everything will stay. So yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kim. Very
Yes.
grateful to you. And again, everyone, I invite you to visit the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Kim, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Kim, AIM. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description, and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And yeah, then there you can find the program where you can sign up. And Linda, so her question is, as I expand my light and consciousness, it sometimes triggers other people. Any suggestions on how to stay consistent and filled with our light, so it is an uplifting thing for both ourselves and also the person being triggered? Also, how can we bring more light and add this upliftment of light and energy to Mother Earth and all her inhabitants? Thank you for this beautiful call.
Thank you for this beautiful question. And already a lot of goosebumps are coming through. So you're getting a lot of loving energies. But it is also understanding that love means truth. And it doesn't mean you're harming someone else. It doesn't mean you're blaming or shaming someone else. But what I noticed as well is, as we step into this space of embodying love, you will also trigger other people that are like, it's you mirroring them, the places where they're not ready to let love in. And then the question or the invitation to you is to stay centered in love. So when you notice like you're in this embodied space of love and you're just expressing from your heart and the other one gets triggered, it's allowing the other one to be in the trigger. That's beautiful because that means healing. Where before we thought that healing was placing a band-aid. No, that's not truth. You allowing the other one to experience their emotion, whatever their emotion is, and your invitation is then to not be triggered by their emotion. So you can be compassionate, you can be silent, you can just be in this loving space with yourself, or even feel like there needs to be a certain distance. That's totally fine, but it's you staying with this centeredness in yourself and not letting yourself get out of this centeredness, because that is what for a lot of times happen. We suddenly start to doubt ourselves or judge ourselves, or we get challenged by the emotion of the other. And then like there's the invitation for us when we get challenged by the emotion of the other to find out what it says about us, but it doesn't have to do anything with the other. So it's taking those two out of like in a way separating them, but it's not separation because in the end we're taking responsibility. So that's difficult in how I explain it maybe, but it's allowing the other to have their experience and you staying centered in love and staying centered in yourself and understanding as you embody more love, as you embody more truth, that sometimes other people will get triggered, but you're helping them because in a way you're mirroring them like, okay, this part of you needs love. This part of you needs to be seen, needs to be acknowledged. And you can be compassionate and just share with them. You do not have to push that away. Again, vulnerability. When you're being able then to just share from this centered, empowered, vulnerable state, that really allows the other to see what is happening instead of you putting up a wall or blaming or shaming, and you're not doing that. But it's really, and that's the mastery we're all being invited to do. That's not something most of us have been taught when growing up. So it's you also mastering that part in yourself and coming back to really being confident with yourself, because it can also make you doubt yourself or make you, because sometimes when we're stepping into this space of truly embodying love and you feel like when people get triggered, it also sometimes in us activates like, okay, I'm not being part of the group anymore, or people don't like me anymore, and I'm just being from my heart and I'm doing my best. But then it's you just coming back to this place of self-compassion and self-love and not needing the validation of others, because it's letting go of those dynamics and really stepping into your role in serving from this higher good. But sometimes this higher good is different than what our mind thinks, because our mind likes to be part of the group and our mind likes to be liked and likes to, but sometimes that's not in the greater plan, and it's understanding how that dynamic works. So it's really, I think, authenticity and really being in a space of vulnerability, letting the other person have their experience while you can have your experience. I think that's an important one. Yes, and Mother Earth, it's really, just like you being in this space of just love for your body. Because when we truly honor our body and honor our vessel, that's a part of the material of Earth. We also honor Mother Earth. And when we come into this space of love for ourselves, and for the universe and for all there is, we are also in a way taking better care of Mother Earth. We're suddenly saying hi to a beautiful butterfly that flies by, or we're in communion with the trees, or in whatever way it resonates. But when you are in this vibrant energy, that's also what you're giving to the collective. So you choosing love, you choosing to be in the compassionate state with yourself, in allowing the energy to flow, helps Mother Earth. And I think that's an important key as well, because when we hold on to things, when we contract, it means almost like we have this contracted energy that then walks over Mother Earth. And that's not supporting her. It supports her when you can be this channel, when you are choosing to let the energy flow through you, to anchor your highest self-guidance, to let the light express itself in the ways it wants to express through you. And that's really in communion with Mother Earth, because when you are expressing, even through this, I am expressing, I am putting the energy into words, it means I'm alchemizing, I'm co-creating with Mother Earth, because by us doing things in materia, it means co-creating with the elements of Mother Earth. So you're supporting her by being yourself, by bringing into the collective the energy of love and compassion and allowing the energy to flow. So I think there's beautiful questions, and I honor you and I celebrate you for being on this journey. So thank you for bringing that in.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful question indeed, and also beautiful answer. Thank you, Kim. And yeah, Linda Short, thank you. That resonated so fully with me and helps me to see things in a more liberated way. Thank you again. Your response was so beautiful and warmed my heart. Thank you, Linda. And yeah, so
And I think as well, this is why community is important. And this is why these sacred spaces are important, because we all have these moments where we doubt ourselves, or we all have these experiences where we think, okay, but then again, it comes from, so thank you for bringing in this question. It comes from sharing from this open, vulnerable state. And in that, we can learn from each other because we're all here to support each other. We're all here to grow and expand together, but it's through the openness of our hearts that we can truly do that. So I think this again is a beautiful testament to the power of just openly asking questions. And what also happens is when you're willing to step into this vulnerable space, coming back to the Seeds of Love Empowerment series, your inner garden will open up more of it's almost like you're again choosing, if you want to grow and expand, you are holding the lid open or closed of your heart, of the walls, of everything. So when you're willing to be open and vulnerable, it also means the healing goes much more quicker. It also means you're again willing to be present in the now moment, and in that shifts happen more quickly. So yeah, I think it's beautiful in many ways.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, maybe I ask a question because I don't see more from the audience. So my question is about because we feel the energy accelerating like year after year. And my question is related to when we start seeing signs and when we feel things are moving forward, we see like the energy is starting to materialize, but also at the same time, maybe as a result, we get excited, like very excited about that. And we also can get impatient because even though things are moving forward, there are times of slowing down, or maybe we need to allow more times to things to manifest. So how do we maybe experience the excitement at the same time try to flow with the physical world, or
Yes.
how things flow for us?
I think it's again embracing both, riding the waves of, okay, I feel the excitement, but I also like, because it's also part of who we are. We are sometimes impatient and we are excited, and we also have these moments where we're just being invited to be compassionate with whatever is. And for me, it's coming back to the essential energy of what we desire. So again, the old vision of manifestation is, okay, I want a car and I'm going to manifest a car. And when is this car coming? But if you're going to the essential energy, so you desire a new car, but what in the essence do you desire? Is it the energy of, okay, everything is new, or is it the safety a new car brings you, or is it that it's more quicker, or whatever? But the car is just a general example. But it's coming back, like when you truly notice in your life and you notice to the essential energy behind your desires, most of the time the manifestations happen very quickly. Only it is our mind that wants things to happen in a certain way and then neglects or then judges the way it comes. And I think especially as the earth accelerates, we're manifesting very quickly, but it's inviting us to be really conscious aware of our thoughts, of our feelings, of our words, of our conversations, of our actions. Again, coming back to the seeds of love, and we're constantly planting seeds. So also this conversation is planting seeds within me, within you, within everyone tuning in. What seeds do you consciously choose to plant? And what seeds are you planting throughout your day? Because as the earth accelerates, as we are in this huge ascension journey, it means everything manifests more quickly. And sometimes also the impatient can come like, I want to manifest this. But in our words and in our conversations, we're constantly planting seeds of the opposite. So I want to manifest that car, but I'm constantly talking to my neighbor that I don't have a new car, or that this is going wrong, or that is going wrong. And then we can think, okay, and these are just very basic things, but it's understanding as the earth accelerates that it also accelerates every expression, it accelerates every thought, it accelerates, and it's not to bring you down, but it's to create the awareness around, okay, what am I truly wanting? And it's about the essential energy. and what seeds are supporting that. And that's coming back to the empowerment series. It's harmonizing all of these energies that we have put in our garden that are not in alignment with manifesting this car, and then planting seeds that are supporting you to manifest this car in the way that is aligned with your soul. Because I think that's also an invitation for this time and space. It's letting go of the ways our mind likes to control things. It's letting go of the way our mind likes things to be manifested. And it's really coming back to the openness of this now moment and the way the universe wants to bless us that sometimes is beyond what our mind thinks it's possible. Because again, we're truly pioneering a new earth. So also the manifestations sometimes, even for me, like years back when I healed my illness and I felt like, okay, I'm ready and I feel like I need to share the power of our energy and of this healing with others. And I thought, okay, it's going to be manifested in a certain way. But when I allowed the energy to flow, like my book got channeled in 20 hours, I never thought I was going to write a book. So it was beyond my wildest imagination, and the whole Flower of Love lineage came out of it, and all of that, beautiful things unfolded. But if I back then would have held on to the vision of my mind, this would have never been created. I probably would have never had this conversation with you because that was not in my vision of that time and space. So it's also understanding that we're constantly cracking open all paradigms. We're constantly stepping out of our comfort zone, but also creating things that have never been created before. It's like we're constantly breaking world records. But if we stay in the limitation of the mind, it's like, okay, it will never happen. But if it will never happen, we're never breaking these. So it's, again, stepping out of the box and really surrendering ourselves to the power of love, surrendering ourselves to our higher self guidance, and then also being compassionate with this impatient side, because that's, in a way, it's also beautiful because it means our life force energy is running and we're excited and we're moving in this energy of, okay, I'm ready, instead of, yeah. So I think I embrace the impatience, and because it's also part of our humanness and it's co-creating with all these elements instead of judgment, because when we judge, we're contracting again, and then we're not tapping into the infinite field of possibilities. So it's embrace it, be in the openness, and allow the universe to surprise you in beautiful ways, but be conscious aware of like what you're putting out into the field, the balance of your daily conversation. It doesn't mean you can't talk about something that happened that makes you feel sad, but what is the balance of your daily energy outtake and your creations and your
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And also, like you mentioned earlier about the more we embody love, and we have more compassion toward ourselves. And also when we embrace the flow that we are going through with its speed, how to say, like there may be some experiences along the way toward what we want to create that can be really amazing and fulfilling, and they can happen naturally. Yes, sometimes when I just feel that like maybe things start slowing down and I don't react, it just feels nice. I feel that there is a shift happening, and it's more natural, and that feels fulfilling when we do that. And it's not something that's I force. It happens. Yeah, as I move forward.
But that's also respectful for the cycles, because it's also understanding that every creation goes in a cycle. There's a cycle of the conception, the visualization, the idea, the inspiration we get, like I want that car, or I want to manifest that car. That's the inspiration that comes in. But then there's the whole conception process, the whole where it needs to come from energy into form, and that takes time. And it's honoring the cycle. And when we, like, if we're in a period of rest, so if it was a baby, it needs to grow in the belly. And if we are going to poke into the belly while it's growing, we're stopping the process. So in a way, when we're trying to force it, we're stopping the manifestation, because we're trying to control again, instead of just allowing, and then it comes out in the natural time. But it's understanding the sacred rhythms of life, just as the moon goes through these things, just as nature, we have winter, summer, they all have their unique qualities. But it's also in the cycles of creation. Every creation has its own cycle. And it also means each time we are being invited to step into our next level, each time we have a manifestation desire, it also means we need to harmonize whatever is in resistance within our field from instantly manifesting it. Because if there was no resistance in our field, the moment we had a thought, we would immediately manifest it. So if you're thinking about, I don't know, butterflies, and you have no resistance in your field about butterflies, probably after this conversation, you will find a butterfly on your phone or somewhere else on a picture or suddenly outside. But if we have certain, like again, with the car, if we have the feeling like, okay, I'm not worthy of a new car, that's a program in our subconscious field. Before we can manifest that car, it means we need to come into harmony with this energy of I'm not worthy of a new car. And that's coming back to the empowerment series. Sometimes these roots are very deep and they're not even in our conscious awareness. Sometimes these roots of not feeling worthy enough, not feeling deserving, judging yourself, they stem from very old patterns from our childhood, patterns from parents, patterns from family lineage and past lifetimes. And what I love about these multidimensional codes, they help you to harmonize them through all the different layers. And then suddenly the resistance is gone and we notice that the manifestation goes even more quickly. But it's the essence. And I think that's an important understanding in this time and space. The manifestations go in the essence of your desires, go in the essence of what your soul truly wants to experience. And it's letting go of the ego way of it needs to happen this way. So yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Kim. And
Yes.
yeah, so do you have maybe any message before we complete our call today? Or
Yes, I want to invite everyone to just follow your heart. And we're all in our unique way, sometimes being shaken up and sometimes being invited to really feel what is there to feel from our past or from, but it's an invitation. And if we can
yeah,
see it that way, it truly helps us to grow and to step into the space of empowerment, and love is here to help you. Like it's a field for me, also the teachings of the flower of love, they share the field of love consciousness. You can choose to tap into that field by just already consciously becoming aware of it. Right now, just say love and you're already tapping into it. So understanding that in each and every moment we have a choice. Like if you would see it as radio frequency, you can choose to tune into radio fear or limitation, or you can choose to tune into radio love and infinite possibilities. And when you do that, you open your heart, you expand your field, and suddenly magical things happen, but it's you choosing. So I would say choose love, choose infinite possibilities, choose to let the universe surprise you in beautiful ways. And from that, beautiful things unfold. But it's you being on the steering wheel of your life, you being in the place of decision. So choose you and see what unfolds from that. So thank you.
yeah,
And I want to thank you for sharing this sacred conversation and everyone tuning in, because as you're tuning
yeah,
in, you're on this journey of empowered growth. You're on this journey of being a pioneer and a leader of this new earth. And I celebrate and honor you because I know it's both exhilarating, it's both exciting, but also challenging. And it's just, again, coming back to this space of openness and vulnerability and love that we can truly do this together in beautiful ways. So thank you.
yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Kim. And yeah, Linda, Sherrod, thank you so much for this beautiful call. It was so uplifting and inspiring. And yeah, I agree with her. It was really, really, really profound. I love the messages that you shared with us today. Um, yeah, you touched on different aspects that really are related to different areas of our life, and they all come back to planting the seeds of love and embodying the energy of love. So thank you for the inspiration, for the upliftment today, and also thank you for the series that you are offering to our audience. And yeah, so yeah, it's been really
Thank you.
enjoyed to
Yeah,
have you today with us.
it was
Um, yeah, and
so much.
thank you. And again, everyone, you can sign up to the Seeds of Love, the Empowerment Series, by going to the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Kim, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Kim, Kim. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and on the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And yeah, so thank you so much, everyone, whether you joined live or on replay. And thank you for co-creating with us this experience, because really your presence, your energy really help us to bring those messages, those codes for all of us. So thank you so much. And Rose, Charlotte, thank you so much. Such a beautiful um, such a beautiful flow of wisdom. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you again, everyone. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye-bye, everyone.